We're getting set up this morning for day number 2. Got Brandon in the skid steer this morning. I'm showing him how to operate all this stuff. He's ran skid steers before, he just hadn't done all the stuff with the mud demon.
It'll let me go back and forth, but it won't let me do my up and down. The beep is beeping, will it?
Just set it back down.
It won't let me set it down at all.
The door's open.
Yeah.
Pull this button. So see that icon over there?
Which one?
That red one?
Yeah.
Yep. No, so it's right here. Hit that red one up here,
Okay.
and then hit your unlock. No, it's the button, not the square.
Oh, it's a button.
Should be the top right. It should be right here.
I see the it's unlock. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now will it work? Well, it's side by side. Yeah. So that other button you hit that made the yellow icon come on, that's the high flow.
Okay.
But we don't need that today. We'll just be using the regular.
That comes built in all the skid steers?
What's that?
That high flow?
No.
It's special just for what else would they use the high flow for besides
Like rotary cutters or forestry heads, things like that use high flow. But certain models have it, some don't. So yeah, so take that cigarette lighter out there. You see it hanging in the window?
Yeah.
Take that, and then behind that screen is up underneath is where the cigarette, where you plug it in. Up under there. Okay, so now you see that.
Okay.
And then the next thing you'll do is this. So you see the thumb trigger here, the other side.
This one.
Yeah. And then the bottom left one right there. So roll your thumb up, and then push your bottom one. No, just hold it. Now let go. Okay. Now up there at the top, you'll see that little menu button up there.
Yeah.
Push it. All right, now your check mark. Now go to your check mark. Now push it once, and then push again and hold it. All right, that allows you to have auxiliary hydraulics, and you can step out of the machine.
So keep holding it? Or?
No, you can let go.
Okay.
Yeah. Once it beeps, you can let go, or it starts the countdown. Now you should be able to raise your safety bar. It cut off.
Good.
Yeah, let's sit it back down.
Do it all over again?
Yeah. Other way. You gotta you gotta go up.
So it goes up and then
Hold that down, and then let it off. Now try getting out. Okay, it did it then. It didn't.
Maybe I have to open that door before that bypass goes off.
How I check it is I'll just hit the agitator.
As long as the agitator.
Yep. So now grab your remote, and you'll turn it on like we turn the other one on. You can let go. There you go. And it's going to say manual on it.
Manual mode.
So what you do, you got to hold it down for 3 seconds. You'll see it changed. So that changes over.
Okay.
So the same thing with the agitator. It's like a 2 or 3 second delay. So you got to hold it down, and then it'll kick on, and you can let go. But you can just bump it, turns it off.
Okay.
So, and then now you're in all remote.
Right.
So of course that's your forward, that's your reverse, and then every time after you stop it, you got to bump it back up to that. And it's the same way here. I'm gonna take you out of remote. We'll go to manual, and so it's the same thing if you have to run it from here for some reason. So you'll hit forward and hold it down, and watch this gauge right here. See it pop up,
Okay.
and then you can start. But you're increasing, you got to hold it down too.
Okay, so it just go up, just like the remote. It'll go 10, 50, 80, 100.
Just like that. And you should hit the off button, and we'll go back to remote. Just like that. So,
Pretty simple.
yeah, the thing is that thing sometimes gets a little, I don't know if I just get out of sequence or what, but sometimes you may have to do it a couple, 2 or 3 times and for it to find it. But always be listening, because you can hear this kick on.
When I do the thumb switch and I hit the button, I see the hydraulic move.
Yeah.
And when I let go,
when you see it really move and wind is when you pull down on it, because it's hitting the diversion valve and it won't go.
Okay.
So you got to push up on it and then lock and then that, like I said.
That's what I did the first time. I pulled down.
Oh, you did right the first
Yeah,
time. Yeah, this is the second time that it really jumped and it showed. So, but.
Got water in the water book.
Check it and see. Yep.
It don't take much.
They really don't hold a whole lot. But other than that, I mean, and then this will tell you too.
What everything's going on.
Sometimes you might get a C220 on here, and what you have to make, you gotta make sure you get your power on and make sure your connection is good up there. But hit your e-stop and then reset it, and then that'll clear that C220. I just learned that last time with Matt.
They don't know what that code is yet?
Well, that code is. He said it's just you got a wire connection loose, and it's just throwing a code. So you got to, like I said, you got to make sure your connection, because cigarette lighter isn't real tight. I've noticed that will move around some. So you just got to make sure it's shoved in there good, and then hit your e-stop and just reset your e-stop.
It's kind of crazy that it runs off of a cigarette lighter. Real power is it.
It don't take much. It just needs I've used a little Deere feeder, 12-volt Deere feeder batteries.
Just hooked it like that?
Because all you're running is the LED and your remote. So
yeah, everything else hydraulic.
Everything else is the machine, yeah. So no, it don't need much power at all. But you got a voltmeter over there also. It's telling you. So
that wasn't on the old one, was it?
I don't remember. I don't know if it was. But. So when you go to move, you'll get in and just bump that thumb, just bump it. It'll cut the hydraulics off, and then get it move.
I'm gonna do that real quick.
So I just shut them off.
And, all I gotta do is hit the unlock. And then the start.
Yep.
You wanna leave it on, or you wanna cut it off?
We can shut it off, because it's gonna be. They just called and said it's gonna be about 20 more minutes before the truck gets here.
Shut it off?
Yeah, you can shut it off.
Stop.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Only one I've ever ran was a Kubota.
Oh, these are smooth. But I get in Matt's, his Takahauchi.
Oh, yeah.
Like this one is, I might be saying this wrong. This one is electric over hydraulic. So it's got solenoids. Once you start moving, it's got solenoids that start opening the hydraulics up. So it eases in and out, or,
right.
it's not. It's direct. It's like hydraulics. I mean, so you touch a stick, you open the valves. and you got, I mean, his takes a minute to get used to. But this is, works well for me. But no, I like the John Deeres.
I was gonna ask what made you go with John Deere over the other one.
Yeah, I like them. The guys at Yellow House have been good to me.
You got it in Wichita?
Yeah. Yep. So the only thing you got to watch is the height of this to be able to get you open your door.
I noticed that. I tried to open the door. I was going to yell at you over there.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the...
I need to cut a couple of those 4x4 blocks, like for when you're washing out. You can set this on those blocks,
and then get out.
And then you can get out, and that gives you plenty of height to slide those trays underneath it and stuff. Because if you don't, if you have it up high enough for the trays, over a period of time it starts bleeding down, because it's just a ton of weight over here. So if you have a couple of 4x4 blocks you can slide under there, then that'll hold it up high enough that you can get the trays.
when you're pumping, do you have it on the ground? So you'll just rock it there.
Just set it down and then rock it forward, and it'll sit down.
That's all the way down right now.
Yeah, you can just push it forward, or it'll bleed. Once you start pumping, it'll bleed forward. So.
Yeah, them blocks would be here. So you can set them right here on both sides. They have it on that side too?
No. Well, you can just sit on that rail. Is that rail right there? Or that piece of framing. You can sit them on it. That's what I did at the house. I put them under that when I set it down because it makes it easier for me to unhook and hook it up. Setting them on that. So.
I got some big blocks at the house.
But I've got.
I took them off the trailer. Or they were in the back of my truck a while back whenever I was working, hauling equipment. The big old screws to drop the trailer down.
Yeah, all those.
They're almost like
cross ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 2 big pieces like that. Probably perfect for that.
And we'll just prime the hose out on the ground and then feed it up to them and go from there. So Brandon and I walked into the barn next door. It was it'll look like similar to what we just did. And look at this, all custom stalls. I mean, I don't know what's going to look like on video, but in person, it is crazy. There's a tremendous amount of welding. They're all doing it here. I mean, there's stacks of square tubing. There's another big old bundle around the corner. So this is what that one across, the one we're pumping the grout to now. This is what it'll look like once we're done. But I keep thinking Otis from Andy Griffith's gonna pop out of one of these. But I'm just looking. There's a ton of welding. They're doing them all right here. These aren't built and then brought up. They're doing it all right here. Custom fit. Oh, that looks phenomenal. Looks phenomenal. Somebody's got to come here and paint all this stuff. Oh. Wow. Anyway, give you an idea. Custom windows. That's something else. There being some money flowing around here. But it's showtime, ladies. So I got Brandon. I'm training him on the mud demon today, getting him all straightened out. So when they come to the big part of the wall, you can run it 80% on it. And then when they come to these windows, you know, it's not as much. I always bump them out like to 50% or 30%. That way they got time to move the hose. But these parts, I was running 80 to 100% on this big stuff. But we'll see. We may end up putting some more water on that grout. It's still kind of sticky. But another day on the wall. That's pretty cool. In that other barn, and I don't know if I showed y'all. This is what we pumped last week or the other day. We did all these walls here. These short ones are already grouted. We had to do those, but these taller ones we had to pump those. But these are, I mean, it's very similar to what that other one was. So you see all the metal work they got to do. That's a tremendous amount. We pumped all this stuff through here. So what we lack on this building is basically this wall right here where you see the guys come up the gables, back around this way, A couple of these pieces, these two walls here, that wall there, and this gable here, and this will be finished. And then we'll move over to this building and go to work on it, which is not near as big as this other one. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a 50, 60 yard day. So got our man lift, our sky track going. Main thing is just make sure we don't kink the hose. That's really the main thing. It's wanting to, but it's not. Being with gravel, if we had any rock in there, it probably would. And then I've got the Alliance anti-stick on here. It worked phenomenal the other day. So as long as you don't get truck drivers washing your stuff down, I mean that's the only thing that really kills the non-stick stuff. But man, this stuff works good. So yeah, it took me a good hour or so on the pressure washer, cleaned the skid steer up, cleaned the mud demon up, but very nice for this application. Very nice. Only thing I would change is I would have 2-inch hose, which I very seldom have a use for 2-inch hose, so I just don't see going buying 2-inch hose just for that once a year job. If I come across a deal, maybe, but I'm just not gonna go out and buy a bunch of 2-inch hose. This isn't killing them, so it's not bad at all. And once again, we're in standard flow on the machine. We're not in high flow. Really, there's not a need to go high flow here. But we are running around 80 to 100% on the volume. And probably about 50% on the throttle on the machine. So it'll click along. Click along just fine. Alright, so we got them some hose. They're gonna start this gable in. Showing is he's using 80% volume. Turn the agitator on. Using my voltage meter, I was trying to check out this plug right here. Little 3-prong plug. I gotta figure out if there's a switch I gotta turn on this side or what. Because I could build a connection to just hook my wire there instead of my cigarette lighter to power my 12-volt system. It's just plugging in the cigarette lighter now, but if I had that, I could just plug it in right there. That'd be more convenient. The reason why we don't use we can use the 12 pin, but each manufacturer's pin settings are different. So we would have to, you know, figure out all the logistics to make that work. So that's why we just use either the gator prongs on the batteries, or we use a cigarette lighter on these. So there you have it. Now you got the Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. I'll get reset up here. We came around. Yeah. Yeah, you're about to go around. We're gonna set this up right here, then Brandon will back in. Easy, son, easy. Then we'll get that situated, then we'll bring the hose around to Brandon. Get that out of his way. Perfect. We can reach all that. That's a handy tool right there. They're very handy. Hold on, buddy. I'm coming. All right. Yep. That's a big good spot. Sorry for the jumbling around. We should be almost done with this truck, and we got a new truck right there. All right, we'll get this going. All right, we got moved. We got a new truck in here, and we're gonna finish this wall. Then we've got those side, those little short walls. They're shorter than the exterior, but they're really tall walls in there. We got to fill those yet. Then we'll come around, catch the end of this piece, and then we go up over the gable, across that side, around this side, and that side, this side, that side, and we'll be done with that building. And then we'll come over here and start this one. So, quite a bit of stuff in the area here. We'll be able to maneuver around it, but then we'll probably start somewhere over here. I'm guessing we'll get this and start heading that way. And most of our interior walls are on that opposite side, so this building shouldn't take near as long as that other one. It shouldn't. So we're just, because all the walls are down there, the pieces. That's been what's been taking so long, is just doing the exterior walls have been going fine. It's coming back and hitting these interior walls. Of course, a little bit more hose movement and getting situated, but shouldn't be that bad. And then in a couple hours, I'm actually going to be taking the other pump and going to go do a utility grout after lunch. So I'm going to get a little double dipping today, which is awesome. Oh, our first resident's taking a nap. Hey, are you okay? Do you need some help? Look. Alright. So this is truck 50. We're pumping on 60 sitting over there. We're on the smaller building now. I actually went to town and pumped a utility grout. It was about 3 yards. Going about, I guess I was going probably 3 hours, something like that. So Brandon held the fort down while I went and made a little extra something on the side. So we're now back at it. I'm back at it over here. He's been pumping. So like I said, he's whittling away at it. We're still pumping, but we're on the last building. I think their main goal is get the exterior walls done, and we'll come back and do the interior sometime when we got some other stuff to pump. So I think their main goal is get the exterior ones done. We'll see. It's been a long day out here though, for sure. Old Mud Demon just clicking along with the John Deere. Such a cute couple. Oh yeah, it's getting hot. This is ridiculous. When will it rain? I feel the heat coming through my shoes. Salt shoes getting hotter, adding to my blues. All right, name that song. Last truck, we figure we're probably 6 yards into him or so. So hopefully we'll get, I was trying to get the mason to tell me if he knew how many yards to do for 1,000 blocks, or they got some kind of formula calculation, which he does, but he didn't have it mapped down into amount of blocks per yard or anything like that, like I was wanting. Because sometimes you get these block fills, and it'd be nice to have a little quick calculation. Because I mean, obviously you can do the, it's an 8 by 16, and then the inside, which is about a 6-inch gap, you can figure that, but it's hard to figure with the webbing and all that. So does somebody have a formula for filling blocks, like a yard per blocks or something like that? I would like to know. Leave it in the comments. May have left ourselves a little short. We may have to twist the machine. We may have to move the machine. The machine is dirty. The machine is going to need a power washing. We're all on standby with the rain. We got a pretty good chance of starting the season tonight or in the morning. So some of the guys have called already and said, hey, let's talk in the morning if y'all head our way. So we do have a couple of jobs on the books, but we'll see. I'm crossing my fingers. I'd like to have another full week. I don't want to be greedy, but I'd like to have another full week. It would be awful nice.